Many of you know me as a guy who travels a lot. The airline world taught me not only how to live out of your carry-on suitcase for a week, but also taught me a lesson or two about strategic pricing. I want to share it with you. Ever wondered why the price of an air ticket might change from a few hundred to a few thousand? It all depends whether you buy one way or return, whether you make connections, the level of service you expect. On the other hand, a cost of a metro ticket is usually fixed. For example, a trip from downtown San Francisco to the airport costs $8.80. It doesn't depend on whether you are buying one ticket or a few, whether it's a Tuesday morning or a Sunday night. That comparison illustrates the difference between pricing and strategic pricing. They are not quite the same. One is operational, it's price setting. The other one is strategic, it's more of a yield optimization. You might ask why would we choose the more complex multi-rate option over the simple metro ticket style setup? Wouldn't it save us some headache? It's all about the customer's willingness to pay and the perceived value of the product. It differs from customer to customer. If we follow the metro ticket path of a single price setting, our revenue is limited. We missed out on the customers who are not prepared to pay the rigid set price. Like someone who is buying a ticket to have a beer with a friend might only be happy to pay around $5 instead of $8.80. But also on the other hand, we miss out on the revenue in cases when the customers are happy to spend more. Like if you want to take the train to the airport and your only alternative is a $50 cab ride. What can we do in order to prevent customers from being excluded because of prohibitive pricing and also capture all that extra revenue when there is such opportunity? The price we offer should reflect the customer's willingness to pay. So we need to follow the airline path, the flexible strategic pricing, instead of following the rigid ways like always target or always floor approach. But how do we determine the willingness to pay and adjust the rate accordingly? This question can be split into three more manageable problems. When shall we price closer to the target or closer to the floor? How to grow your account through strategic discounting? And finally, how to handle the pushback and objections. Pricing strategically between list and floor prices can be tricky and nuanced. In this slide, we will walk you through a framework to help you with getting it right. There are three major components to consider when pricing a deal. What are the client's major objectives? How they are measured? And how important is the timing of their message? After answering these questions, you should have a general idea of how to approach pricing. Let's look at the options. If a client's number one priority is brand awareness, or if their message is very time sensitive and should drop with the release of a particular product or purchasing season, then in general pricing on these deals should focus between list and target prices. The demands of the client are more premium, so should be the pricing. If a client is more direct response, focused on short-term return on investment and conversions, also willing to shift the timing of the campaigns for more aggressive pricing, then negotiations should focus more between target and the floor prices. Seasonal discounts can be a powerful tool if the advertiser is willing to shift the campaign to months with lower demand in order to meet the ROI goals. And we will talk some more about this type of discounts in the later part. If a client is brand response focused and seeking balance between building brand awareness and motivating action, then these clients should be negotiated around the target.
One school I work with has an extremely niche target audience, and they are always trying to get in front of them at a specific time in the quarter. So I definitely have to be strategic with my pricing when I'm working with them. Anytime that I've even considered going below target or or even sometimes at Target, we can run out of inventory. So we can certainly justify charging them a premium to be in front of the audience when they need to be in front of them, given the timing and the targeting. The other thing that factors in is the measurement that they're doing on the back end. They definitely have a cost per lead goal, but as long as we're within a certain range, we can deliver the number of leads that they need, and they've been really happy with the success that they've seen over the last few years with that model.
Sometimes the standard floor is not good enough, and in order to grow the account, we need to apply some discounts. Let's walk through some good and not so good practices here. Good reasons to discount include encouraging increased spend. Advertisers can be incentivized towards higher spend by offering increasing discounts with larger order sizes or larger annual spend commitment. Another reason to offer discounts is new clients and product offerings. With a new client, introductory rates might be a good way to invite them to test our solutions. However, the introductory rates shouldn't be too far from the typical rates that we would expect the client to pay after the introductory period is over. Finally, the seasonal discounts. Since demand and availability of our inventory fluctuates, we sometimes are able to offer some low season promotions. Discount packages will be created for these times in order to help stimulate demand. The pricing team will publish a calendar of these seasonal discounts before the beginning of the year. There are also situations when discounting would not be the best idea. When an inventory segment has a high sell-through rate, selling our premium inventory at a discount leads to cannibalization of other higher yielding campaigns. Also, some heavy discounting might cause channel cannibalization where the inventory could have been better monetized through LinkedIn ads. The pricing team sets floor pricing with this in mind to maximize yield across all channels, both field sales and LinkedIn ads. Discounting with a short-term view can potentially hurt longer-term revenue opportunities. For example, discounting aggressively to meet some monthly or quarterly goals may erode pricing, so the annual revenue goals would not be met. Finally, making unilateral concessions, discounting without receiving any value or commitment from the advertiser, leads to price erosion and can cause a shift in the perceived value of the product, since price and value perception are inherently tied together. Finally, when in doubt whether discounts should be applied or not, please contact the PYM team through Einstein.
We had several deals in the pipeline for one of our automotive advertisers, and we essentially took what was going to be a 200K deal, combined it with another pitch that we were presenting, effectively turning it into a 500K deal, and that was really enabled by being able to offer that strategic level of pricing that we wouldn't have had otherwise, which led to a pretty substantial increase in volume for that account.
How to handle the objections and advertisers' pushback when it comes to pricing. Apart from emphasizing the quality of LinkedIn inventory and explaining that our pricing is value-based, we can also use that conversation as an upsell opportunity and offer a discount structure tied to certain spend commitments. Should that not work, then pivoting to lower cost products like different ad size or similar but cheaper audience might solve the problem.
I've been dealing with a tech client for a couple of years now, and they have never invested in the platform. They've sent us proposal after proposal, and we have replied, however, no investment as yet. So the latest proposal that came through, I pushed back and requested a meeting with the agency and the client, and stated that there would be, I guess, no more proposals from us, well, no more responses until we actually had this meeting. So we sat down, and in that meeting we discovered that pricing was the issue, and they were actually advertising on smaller networks, and they were comparing us to these networks. So we had a conversation, and we positioned ourselves as the premium platform that we are, and that we are here to build relationships, really, not to just drive traffic or clicks for the client, but to really build a community in the longer term for the client, which they really, really loved. and decided to invest in us, thankfully. So we are currently running a campaign now, and we communicated to them that I guess for the premium price they were paying, they were also getting a premium audience. So they actually now see us in a completely different light, and rather than just running ad hoc campaigns for clicks, they are now wanting to really have a strategic relationship with LinkedIn for the future.
Summing up, the way we can start pricing strategically is through first knowing when to price at or above target, or maybe closer to the floor, then being aware of the discounts available and applying them the way that stimulates the account growth, finally handling the objections the way that prevents pricing erosion and make yield positive decisions. It is all to obtain the goal of following the strategic airline-style pricing model, which leads to revenue maximization, rather than being stuck in the rigid, inflexible metro ticket pricing.